The Rhaetian Railway, abbreviated RHB, is a Swiss transport company who owns the largest network among all private railway operators in Switzerland. The RHB operates on almost all the railway lines of the Swiss canton of Graubünden, Grisons, except the Swiss Federal Railways, which operates trains to the cantonal capital, Chur. Inaugurated in 1888 and expanded from 1896 onwards in various sections, the RHB network is located almost entirely within Graubünden, with one station across the Italian border at PIRANEO. The Rhaetian Railway serves a number of major tourist destinations, such as St. Moritz and Davos. One of the RHB lines, the Bernina Railway, crosses the Bernina Pass at 2,253 meters above sea and connects with the Italian railway network at Turano, Lombardy. In 2008, the RHB section from the Albula, Bernina area was added to the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The Albula-Bernina line is the first rail line in the world to be photographed and put on Google Street View. History. The establishment of the Rhaetian Railway went back to the Dutchman Willem Jan Holsboer, who advocated a railway line from Landcourt to Davos. In 1888, Holsboer founded the Landcourt-Davos AG to initiate construction of a standard gauge line. His vision, however, could not be fulfilled as the mountainous terrain lacked sufficient space. On 29 June 1888, the groundbreaking ceremony took place for a narrow-gauge railway instead. In 1895, Holsboer changed his company's name to the Rhaetian Railway to reflect his plans for network expansion. In 1897, a referendum was held for the Rhaetian Railway to bid on operations of the Graubünden, Grisons State Railways. During the years 1907 to 1910, the Rhaetian Railway, in collaboration with the federal and cantonal governments, undertook a large-scale expansion of its network. In 1896, the Chur-Thusis line opened. This was followed by the Albula line in 1903 and the series of expansion projects carried on until 1922. All RHB lines are 1,000 mm meter gauge wide electrified. 61 km is electrified at 1000 VDC. 321 km is electrified at 11 kV, 16.7 Hz. The network contains 84 tunnels. Farina Tunnel, opened on 19 November 1999, and the 5.864 km Albula Tunnel, and 383 bridges. The maximum gradient is 7% on the Bernina Railway, 6% on the Chur-Arosa line and 4.5% on Landcourt-Davos line. Network. Current services is operated by the RHB. Hourly service. Reader Express RE1. Chur, St. Moritz Reader Express RE2. Landcourt-Davos Reader Express RE3. Distantis, Muster, Chur, Landcourt, Schuol Taras Preda R4. Chur, Arosa Reader R5. St. Moritz, Tirano Reader R6. Davos Platz, Philisa Reader R7. Pontresina, Saliens, Schuol Taras Pesbahn S8. Shears, Landcourt, Chur, Razens S-Bahn S9. Chur, Thusis. Off-peak service. Reader R11. Chur, St. Moritz Reader R21. Landcourt-Davos Reader R31. Distantis, Landcourt. Vehicle transporter services. Through the Farina Tunnel. Clusters, Saliens. In 2002, the annual traffic carried by the RHB was 300 million passenger kilometers and 54 million ton kilometers of freight. 80% of the passenger income comes from tourist traffic, although 40% of passengers are local commuters. Landcourt-Davos line. Landcourt railway station in Graubünden is the starting point of the Rhaetian Railway. Historically as part of the Landcourt-Davos line, operationally as the company's main workshop, and topologically as the 0-kilometer point of the company's core network. The Landcourt-Davos line is the oldest in the Rhaetian Railway network. After leaving Landcourt, the line to Davos crosses the river Landcourt, and then generally follows the river upstream as far as Closters, crossing the river several times along the way. Just beyond Closters, there are two tunnels. One of these is for the PIRANEO line. The other, the Closters Loop Tunnel, takes the Davos line at a 45-degree angle towards the west. The line to Davos then loops back towards the east, inside the Cavaldelli Loop Tunnel, and continues through dense larch and other coniferous forests to the Davos Lariat. The highest point on the line is the next stop, Davos Wolfgang. Then the line leads back down and along Lake Davos to Davos Dorf, and the terminus at Davos Platz. Davos-Phyllis line. The connecting line from Davos Platz to the Albular Railway at Phyllis passes through wild gorges, and is technically very interesting, not only due to its famous Wiesen viaduct. The Davos-Phyllis line is 19 kilometers long, runs through 14 tunnels extending a total of 4,200 meters in length, and crosses 28 bridges. It was electrified in 1919. Landcourt-Thusis line starting in the Rhine Valley. The Landcourt-Thusis line runs more or less parallel with the Swiss Federal Railway's Sargans-Landcourt-Chur standard gauge line as far as Chur. The line to Thusis then simply follows the course of the Rhine to Bonaduz. From there, it enters the Domlisch Valley and follows the posterior Rhine from Razens to Thusis. Albular line. This line begins in Thusis. It continues toward Tiefenkastele following the Albular and then crosses the Landwasser viaduct before arriving at Phyllis. Shortly after Phyllis, the line passes its first spiral tunnel, then continues to Bergun, Brevoortrein. Between Bergun, Brevoortrein and Preda, at the end of the valley, the line has to achieve a difference in height of about 400 meters inside a horizontal distance of 5 kilometers, without using rack and pinion, but with many spirals. Then the line enters the Albular Tunnel at 1,815 meters under the Albular Pass. It emerges in the Val Bever, where it reaches Bever on the Engadine Plain. The line continues towards Samadan and arrives at St. Moritz. Albular Tunnel. In 2009 it was announced that an examination of the Albular Tunnel conducted in 2006 had found major degradation of the tunnel, with over 60% of the lining in need of replacement. Furthermore, the bores are small by modern standards, and cabling, signaling and drainage all need replacement. As a result, it was announced that an inquiry would decide from two options: a course action, either comprehensive renewal of the existing tunnel or the construction of a new bore to modern standards. On the result of this inquiry, RHB has decided to build a new tunnel. Construction should begin in 2014. Reichenau-Disentis-Mustia-Kutar line. The Reichenau-Disentis-Mustia-Kutar line links the rest of the Rhaetian Railway network with the Matterhorn-Gotthard-Bahn. It branches from the line to Thusis behind the shared Rhine Bridge. The line was opened progressively between 1903 and 1912, and has been electrified since 1922. In contrast with the accompanying road, which rises about 500 meters towards Flims and LAAX, the railway to Disentis-Mustia-Kutar runs slowly up the narrow Ruin or Tor Gorge. On this part of the line, its associated engineering structures dominate the otherwise pristine natural landscape. At Elands, the railway line and road merge paths once again. The combined pathways then rise slowly and evenly to Disentis-Mustia-Kutar. The main traffic on the Reichenau-Disentis-Mustia-Kutar line is Reeder Express passenger trains operating at hourly intervals. Several times a day, there are Glacier Express trains in each direction. Timetabled goods trains also operate on the line to serve industry in the Vorderrhein area and supply cement for the construction of the normal gauge Gotthard-based tunnel, with train IDs starting with 5, usually 3 pairs of trains serve Disentis-Mustia-Kutar with a GE662, and a few additional trains go only to Elands with a GE 4/4 2. Engadine Line. This line, which runs up the Engadine Valley, was constructed in two stages. The Samadan-Pontresina section was opened on by the Rhaetian Railway on 1 July 1908, simultaneously with the Pontresina-Motrich section, which formed part of the then independent Bernina Railway. The actual Engadine line, between Bever and Scuol Terrace, was opened on 1 July 1913, and was the first Rhaetian Railway line to be electrified from the start at 11 kV 16 2/3 Hz AC. Since the opening of the Engadine line, Pontresina has been a dual-system station, as the Bernina Railway operates on 1000 VDC. Track 3 at Pontresina station has a switchable catenary, and is used for trains, such as the Heidi Express, operating through the station and needing to change from one of the two electrification systems to the other. Between Samadan and Bever, the Engadine line shares its track with the Albula Railway. With the opening of the Farina Tunnel and line in November 1999, the Engadine line, at both Lavin and Sush, acquired a direct connection to the Prattigawat Closters, on the Landcourt-Davos line. Bernina line. This line begins at St. Moritz and runs towards Pontresina in Val Bernina. It ascends progressively through the valley to the Bernina Pass over the Motrich station. After Motrich, the line runs towards Bernina Diavaleza, where an aerial tramway leads to Diavaleza and Ospizio Bernina station. This station, next to Lago Bianco, stands at the line's summit at 2,253 meters above sea and holds the title of the highest point of the entire Rhaetian Railway network in among all Adhesian railways in Europe. Alpgrum is the first station to the immediate south of the summit. It is situated above Lago Palu and right below Piz Palu and Palu Glacier. After negotiating many hairpin turns, the line reaches Cavaglia above Val Picciavo. After that, the line descends across the valley towards the Swiss-Italian-speaking town of Picciavo. After Picciavo, the line runs next to Lago Picciavo and calls at La Presa and Merilago. The descent continues towards Brusio, after which the line runs across the famous spiral bridge, Brusio Viaduct. After the spiral bridge, the line passes through the Swiss border town of Campocolono before entering Italy at Tirano RHB station. Orosa line, the 25.68 km railway line from Chur to Orosa, is known as the Arosabahn, and is often abbreviated as CHAR. Work began in 1912 on the route and the line opened on 12 December 1914. The railway leads up from Chur to Orosa via a number of tunnels, bridges and other structures, including the Languisa Viaduct, a structure of national importance. In 1942 the line became part of the RHB company and network, however the line ran on a separate electric system to the remainder of the network until 1997. Before then it was 2,400 VDC, now it is 11 kV 16.7 Hz AC. The gauge has always been 1000 mm as per the rest of the RHB network. It is a single-track railway, with the exception of a short double-track section along Engadine-Strasse in Chur, with a number of passing loops along the route. At all stations with the exception of Chur Stadt, as well as at Chur San Depot and at Haspelgruber near Orosa. The maximum incline is 6%, but there is no rack and pinion used. A short section of the line runs along the streets of Chur and is known as the Chur Startbahn. In Chur, the line starts on Bahnhartplatz, in front of the main railway station, where that station's platforms for the Arosabahn are. Though there is a second stop in Chur only 760 meters from the main station, a 5-kilometer tunnel through the Mittenberg had been planned as an alternative route for the lower section of the line, avoiding running through the center of Chur. This plan was finally dropped in 1996 as the considerable expense could not be justified. Currently the train service R4 provides the passenger service on the line and is shown as timetable 930 in the Swiss national timetables. It is well used by tourists coming to and from the resort at Arosa. The line also carries a substantial amount of freight. Berlin-Zona-Mexico line. This line is not connected to the others. It opened in 1907 and was owned by the Rhaetian Railway between 1942 and 2003. Passenger services ceased in 1972, but a limited freight traffic continued until 2003. The private association operated it as a heritage railway for tourists over 13 kilometers of the original 31 kilometers of line until part of the concession was withdrawn in 2013 to allow road construction. Only about 5 kilometers of line near the depot remain in 2014, but haven't been operated. PIRANEO line rolling stock. Apart from the normal passenger coaches and the panoramic coaches used for the branded Barnina Express tourist services, the railway attaches to the back of trains, according to need, yellow open trucks with wooden benches called wagons panoramics. Art Deco Pullman coaches 1143, which may be hired by private parties. Corporate information. Statistics. Travelers per year, 10.7 million. Revenue, 308,700,000 SFR. Profit, 1,700,000 SFR. Employees, 1,348. Total rolling stock, 1,294. Ownership. The RHB is 51.3% owned by the cantonal government of Graubünden, 43.1% by the Swiss Confederation, 4.6% by private shareholders and 1% by a collection of local communities. The RHB has its impressive headquarters at Bahnhofstrasse 25, Chur, 46 degrees 51:06, and 9 degrees 31 minutes 57 seconds east, 46.8517 degrees north, 9.5325 degrees east, 46.8517, 9.5325 Accidents and incidents. On 13 August 2014, a passenger train was struck by a landslide and derailed at Tiefenkastele, Graubünden, on the Albula Railway. 11 people were injured. In popular culture, in 1997, the Rhaetian Railway was used as the prototype for the Nord Express in the 20th Century Fox animated motion picture, Anastasia. Not only was the Rhaetian Railway featured in the film, but several landmarks were also included. The Landwasser Viaduct and a 1912 missile, the Aargau Barney C3 5th Class 2/6 tank locomotive No. 3 with an added tender. This 1912 locomotive was portrayed as a Russian Continental steam locomotive. It was modified with the smoke deflectors and the smoke box door from a Danish State Railways Class R 963. The locomotive's fictitious number being used in the movie was 2747, as this was a reference to the address of the Fox Animation Studios on East Camelback Road in Phoenix, Arizona. The Landwasser Viaduct was portrayed as a tall, four-story viaduct in Poland as a type of Roman aqueducts. Bibliography. Kamenisk, Karl. Die Rhaetische Bahn. Mit besonderer Berücksichtigung der Albula Route. The Rhaetian Railway with particular attention to the Albula Route. Zurich. Aurel Fussler Verlag. Retrieved 17 December 2012. Hill, Ken and Patterson, Tony. Jane's World Railways. London. Jane's Information Group. ISBN 0-7106-2034-9. Marshall, John. Meter Gauge Railways in South and East Switzerland. Newton Abbott. David and Charles. ISBN 0-7153-6408-1.